So let's do a quick conclusion and summary about this class. Um, First thing that's important to know is that everything is really just a general guidelines. So easing with the seasons, it's important. It's important to support your body throughout the seasons. However, diets can be and need to be modified depending on individual constitutions and needs that the body has at the time. For example, some people have a tendency to run hot. They have a lot of fire. So that usually shows with people walking around in a t-shirt when it's freezing outside. They're sweating a lot, red face, big thirst, restless, get angry easy. For those kind of people, even in winter, you want to stick with the colder foods because those are all symptoms that you have too much internal heat already. So even though when it is cold outside, you don't want to feed that fire more with your food. So while you will still modify the cooling foods by including some warming spices, you're still going to look for overall cooling foods. The same is the case for opposite, like there's people who have a cold constitution. For example, hypothyroid is a good example. Cold leaning constitutions are usually, they get cold easily, so they are the ones who wear a sweater in summer. They have low energy, they get tired quickly, they're feeling cold most of the time. So for them, even during, and also they have a lot of digestive issues, whereas the hot person will have more indigestion and acid reflux. A cold type of person will more have bloating and diarrhea. So if you have like weak digestion and you're feeling cold a lot, then you want to stay away from cold foods also during the summer, or you want to at least make sure that during the summer you pay attention to add warming spices and warm pieces to all the cold foods that you're eating. That way you're going to help your body stay in balance. The guidelines of local, fresh, and seasonal, that's like always recommended. There's no exceptions to that. Then easy way to make sure you get the vitamins you need is eat a rainbow a day. It's kind of fun with kids if you have little kids because you can actually have them pick the foods. Like you can write the colors or draw the colors of the rainbow and then have them design their menu based on the colors of the food. That's a good way to get kids involved in their eating and their health. Then unprocessed foods whenever you can. There is no perfect. I eat microwave food sometimes for 1 or 2 weeks or longer when I get into a really stressful point. So don't feel bad or beat yourself up if you go through a phase where you eat more processed foods again. But try to eliminate them as much as possible. And what helps with that is make a list of all the processed stuff you're addicted to or you really have a tendency to go to when you get stressed. And then during times when you feel better, see if you can come up with foods that are healthier but will still give you that emotional satisfaction that you need. Then try to eat overall more cooked food than raw foods. Imagine like the stomach is a cauldron. It's like the acid functions as the fire, and it's like this cauldron that needs to process the food. If somebody has a lot of heat, if you eat cold food, that's good because it can just eat it up because there's too much heat already. But every time you eat something raw, you add something cold to the stomach, and it's the same as if you have a boiling broth and now you're tossing in a whole cold cabbage. The water will stop boiling. And then it takes a lot of extra energy to get to boiling temperature again so that the food can be cooked or in the stomach digested. That's why when you slightly cook or steam your food, it's pre-digested. It's easier for the body to process. So you will use up less of your energy to digest the food than if it was raw food. Another thing, if you are concerned about minerals, I replaced most of my salt with Himalayan salt because the pink Himalayan salt contains a mineral profile very similar to the human body, other than the sodium, which is much higher than in the body. But with the Himalayan salt, you get a better balance of minerals than if you just use regular white salt. Regarding meats you eat, I would recommend to go for grass-fed and pasture-raised and organic meats. Studies have shown that fully grass-fed beef has a much more favorable ratio of omega-3 to omega-6, and it's much less inflammatory and less fatty than the meat of cows that were raised on corn, because cows are not designed to eat corn. So there's a lot of health problems involved with it. That's why there's a lot of pharmaceuticals that are used in those animals. And because they're eating a diet that is not really designed for their particular species, you get an unfavorable ratio between omega-3 and omega-6s. That's why conventional red meat will be a lot more inflammatory than grass-fed or pasture-raised meat. If you can, avoid GMOs. Corn and soy are the two big things. So if you buy processed foods, maybe read through it and avoid corn or soy issues. Stay away from high fructose corn syrup. So again, that goes into reading labels. Cook a lot with herbs and spices because they have medicinal properties. And if you have the time and the space, grow a few herbs. And if you have the space, a few vegetables. It makes you feel really good. It gets you fully involved with your food and with the process of growing the food that will nourish you. When it comes to supplementation and herbs, my approach is usually the less the better. So unless it's necessary or you really see that there are issues, I would recommend not supplementing too much. If you are concerned, you can always go see a functional medicine practitioner. They have specific testing that they can run and actually see if there's any specific targeted nutrients that you are missing. That's much better than just shooting in the dark by taking all these supplements. They cost a lot of money, and a lot of times they go straight into the toilet. So be mindful about the seasons. Start every morning when you get up. Pay attention to the energetics of the day. Spend a few minutes in bed with your eyes closed and get a feel. Is it warm? Is it cold? When you go outside for the first time that day, like take a moment to stop, to breathe in, to absorb the climate. Is it cloudy? Is it sunny? Is it windy? What's the energetic of the day? So try to be more mindful about the seasonal changes every day, and also how these seasonal changes affect how you feel in your body and how your body is functioning. And last but not least, be easy on yourself. Life is freaking hard these days. We're all struggling. A lot of people are hanging on by a thread. The world is critical enough. The last thing you need to do is beat yourself up for not being perfect. We are obsessed with perfection, but perfection is something that does not exist and we can never reach. So instead of going for perfect, go for good enough. And when you feel something wasn't good enough, then you look at why it wasn't good enough. You see what the contributing factors are, and then you can work with yourself and get an accountability buddy or something to help you work through these days, because health is not a destination, it's a journey. And things will change because we do age, and as we age, our body changes. And instead of fighting the changes, embrace the changes, observe the changes, and learn from the changes.